Hello, this is Claudia de Fuentes from the Sobey School of Business at St. Mary's University. In this session, we are going to be navigating in the ideation space. And what does that mean? That we are going to be trying to link those needs to potential solutions that we want to develop to address the challenge that we have at hand. Ideation, it's a wonderful stage of design thinking because it's one of those expanding stages where you test creativity, when you engage in creativity, and that actually means generating a lot of ideas. Brainstorming encourages you to think expansively, to think widely and without constraints. It's actually one of my favorite phases of design thinking, and it often led wild ideas to spark visionary solutions, really innovative thoughts that are innovative to address that particular problem that you have at hand. So with careful preparation of this stage and a clear set of rules, even though it's an expanding stage, we need the rules, brainstorming can be really productive to generate 100 of ideas, which is what we need, to then select the one that we are going to bring forward. So in this stage, we are actually in the ideation part of design thinking. We are going to be sharing ideas. Working as a team is essential because I think we are more creative if we work together in a team. So develop different ideas, allowing everybody to speak, allowing everybody to contribute, and build on ideas of others are some of the things that you're learning in this stage of design thinking. So what we are doing with the insight that is actually the frame that we are departing from, we are going to develop a concept. And perhaps at the beginning, that frame and that concept are far away, but what we are going to be trying to do with iteration that is requiring design thinking is that we are going to be bringing them closer together till they overlap. So yes, ideation means a transition, but transition that has to come with learning, that has to come with the experimentation to be able to move and to arrive to this convergence faster in the process. Ideation is actually the chance that you have to combine the understanding of the problem and the potential solutions that you want to bring for the people that you're designing for. Ideation is about, yes, pushing kind of like the widest possible solution and the widest possible ideas that you have to generate the best solution for the problem that you have at hand. Of course, with feedback, right? This is an iterative stage. So to ideate, you need to step beyond the obvious solutions. If you want to generate a truly innovative solution, then you need to step up from the obvious ones. You have to collect, or you have to harness on the collective ideas of others. You have to build on ideas of others. That is why engaging into this session with a team, with your colleagues, with different people, essential for ideation in design thinking. Ideation allows you to uncover unexpected solutions or unexpected problem, perhaps that you didn't see, and also allows you to create fluency in terms of the volume of ideas that you have, and also flexibility in terms of the variety of ideas that you may have. What is more important is that you have to go beyond the most obvious solution, and that you have to be allowed to be surprised of the creativity that you have. One of the things that you have to experiment in this stage is the yes and. Because many times when we hear some of the potential contributions or ideas of others, sometimes we tend to criticize that, or even if it's our own ideas or solutions, we rapidly tend to criticize. In this stage, you have to avoid totally, 100%, that prejudgment and say yes, and I want to go to the moon, yes, and let's build a huge spaceship. There are some rules that allow you to be more productive in the ideation stage. The first one is that of deferred judgment. Don't judge your ideas or ideas of others. Instead, build the yes, and let's do this, or let's do that. Also, encourage wild ideas is the second rule. That means the wilder the idea, the better it is. At this point, we don't care about feasibility. At this point, we just care about the wilder idea, the better. Also, build on the ideas of others. Listen carefully of what other people have to tell you about the ideas of others, and keep building on those ideas. And by doing that collectively, I'm sure you're going to be amazed of what you find at the end. But also, it's important to stay focused and on topic. For that, before you engage in a brainstorming session on design thinking, I recommend you to have your how might we question at the top of the chart or at the top of the room, so it always allows you to stay focused and on topic. And also, brainstorming can go out of hand really rapidly. You can imagine if you have a large team of people being creative, it's easy that you have multiple conversations at different times. The challenge with that is that you might lose some of the important contributions if you're not paying attention to what everybody's saying, so try to keep one conversation at a time. And also be visual. Every time that you have an idea, try to write it down in a post-it, but you can either write it down with words, keywords, or images. I recommend you to start using images, drawings, because perhaps, remember, one image says 1,000 words. And in brainstorming, you're going to go for quantity. Try to generate as many ideas as possible as you have. In brainstorming, you have to increase the power of generating ideas and also turn down the evaluative part. At this point, we are not evaluating. At this point, we are just generating as many ideas as possible. The brainstorming goal is to generate as many ideas as possible. Try to spend between 15 to 30 minutes in this session and go into the truly brainstorm mode. Turn off your cell phones, turn off your any electronic devices, and be in the moment and try to generate as many ideas as quickly as you can. And at some point, you might be feeling stuck, so what can you do? Perhaps you can add constraints to the brainstorming that you have. Perhaps you can use some inspiring settings. Okay, if we were, for example, in another country, or if we were, for example, in another region or in another time, how would that problem be solved then? Make it also specific time specific, or perhaps hone it into a different audience that you have at this point. What are some of the constraints that you can use? Perhaps what would be what the solution would be if the solution would have to be round, or what Superman would do, or even what the solution would be if you had $1 million to create it, or if the solution that you're providing is going to bring you or is going to get you in trouble with your boss, or if the solution is going to engage or is going to be involved with fantasy or magic. So what you're going to do, you're going to engage in a brainstorming session, and every solution is going to be recorded, either on a piece of paper or in a post-it, and you're going to start posting each of those solutions or each of those ideas into specific post-its, and after that, you're going to go back and try to group them into themes. After you group them into themes, you're going to identify what are the themes that you have pretty much brainstormed. Since we only have a specific time to complete this exercise, you're going to choose only one of those themes that are called opportunity spaces. Those opportunity spaces are not the solution yet, but are kind of like the playing field that is going to allow you to generate your solution. To select the themes, what you're going to do, since you engage in a collective of brainstorming, the best thing is to conduct a vote, right? A democratic vote. So perhaps each one of the members of your team has one vote or two votes, and you're going to vote for the best potential theme that you have identified, or the best potential playing field that you have identified to go to the next step of developing the solution. Once you have done that, the next thing that you have to do is a reality check. What does that mean? Remember, you have to generate something new, something novel. Try to think if that solution is a blue sky solution, That means that, yes, it's innovative, it's forward-looking, it's novel, it's different, and actually hasn't been done before, and you can do it, right? That is important because that means that you're contributing to something new, to a specific need that might be real, that might be existing, or that might be latent. If the solution is grounded, that means that it's already done, it's very safe, it's very little incremental on it, it's obvious. You want to move up from that space. You want to really go into the blue sky. Or if your idea is spaced out, that means it's crazy. Yes, remember that we encourage in the brainstorming space wild solutions, but at this point we have to converge. We have to make sure that this idea can be feasible. If your idea is too crazy at this point, then you have to bring it down into the blue sky. After you have done that, you're going to be able to refine your idea. So to be able to refine your idea, you're going to identify what is the core of your idea that gets you excited. What is the most important value from your idea to the particular users that are at the core of your challenge? What is the real need that you're addressing? At this point, you must have that information to answer that question. And one important thing that you have to do is to list all of those barriers, all of those challenges that might prevent you to develop your idea into a solution. What would be the most difficult to overcome? If it's perhaps a technology that doesn't exist yet, well, perhaps you have to park your idea and come back to the drawing board and ideate again. I recommend you to move into this quadrant that allows you to identify if your idea is innovative or not. So at the top of the quadrant, you have new offerings. At the bottom, you have existing offerings. One side, you have the extreme users, and on the other side, you have the new users. If your solution lies on the top right quadrant, that is a solution that is innovative. If your solution lies at the bottom left quadrant, that means that is a solution that is not really truly innovative, so you perhaps want to go back again and iterate one more time. One important thing that you have to do here is that you have to be ready to evolve. If you're doing this exercise as a team, many times we don't share the same view as others, but remember, we are doing it as a team, and you have to trust the process. The most important is that what you have to be passionate about is about the problem that you want to solve for your users and not the solution that you're bringing.